Now, just talk to Ryan Timmons. What a great, nice guy. Can you talk a little bit just about how his character is and how he interacts
Sure.
with all the other football players?
Yeah, Ryan's not. I explain to coaches that come in and ask about Ryan. It's typically one of the first things they say, "What kind of kid is he?" Well, you really can't explain. He's a great kid. I always tell him that he's naive because he's a little naive in that he's not worldly. He hasn't been a whole lot of places. He kind of knows what he knows, and that's really about it. But he's just such a great kid, and that's what makes my job and this recruiting and everything. That's what makes it so easy. Is that he is such a good kid, and it makes it just so easy to do it for and help.
Now, he was talking about how close he is to you, that he has a really good relationship, and we almost said you've been like his personal assistant through all this, just setting up all these appointments and meetings with
Right.
coaches. What has that been like, just the hectic and craziness of it all?
Well, it's funny that we spent over the last 3 years a lot of time together. It started. We were talking about that down in the gym actually. We started going to University of Missouri, and and they actually had a camp in St. Louis. It was about a 5.5 hour car trip. I picked him up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we just spent the whole day together. Now he spends most of the time sleeping, but I mean, it's just you have those things, and when you go to a camp, it's just me and him. There's not really, he doesn't have anybody else to hang out with, or those kinds of things. So he would come over in between drills and we'd talk and what he's doing, and it's just and again it goes back to the type of kid he is. It makes that much easier. The stuff with the coaches, is setting up the appointments and all that kind of stuff is to me, it doesn't affect me as much as it does him. It puts a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on him. And quite frankly, he's missed a lot of class time here lately. With that being said, he's still maintained a 4.0 last semester. So he's handling it well. It's been a learning experience for me. This is the first kid, and maybe even the last. I don't know. I hope not, but last kid that has this much interest, because it's national interest. It's not just UK. It's Ohio State, Florida, Missouri, Illinois. I mean, so he's got a lot of attention, and I've learned a lot of things from it myself.
And I knew you all were close because he has that one official visit left,
Right.
and I saw that you told him, "I will drive you wherever
Right.
it takes."
That's right.
And that goes to show just what kind of relationship you all have.
Well, because it's important. This is a lifelong decision. It's not something to me, and that's one thing I stressed to him when we first started this. I said, "This isn't about you playing football. This is about you." Regardless of whether you play football, to find a place that you could go to school, be happy, and get a degree, and be a productive member of our community. And there's been several times I'll get frustrated with them, and I'll just say, "Stop! I do not care if you play football. So let's talk about the school stuff." I don't envy him, to be honest with you. I mean, he's got some tough decisions to make and some great choices. But at the end of the day, the great thing about it is he's going to be doing something he loves, getting a free education. So
You can tell he really loves to play football. He
does.
just lights up when he talks about it. What do you think makes him a special football player on the field?
Well, his obviously his athletic ability. The biggest thing to me is his versatility. He can do so many things. I mean, he can return a kick for you. He can return a punt. He can line up a wide receiver. He can play running back. And that, quite frankly, that's how we used him in our offense. And that just it frees him up so much because of the fact that you can't hone in on him. One play he may be a tailback, next play he's going to be out there a wide receiver. So are you going to have a corner follow him all over the field? So it gave us a lot of opportunity. And I think that's what makes him such a good football player. I think that if you were to stick him back at a tailback and give him the ball 40 times a game, we're not talking about Ryan Timmons right now. I think the key is getting him all over the field and getting the ball in his hands as many ways as you can.
Now, what are you telling coaches? He's had a lot of in-home visits this week, talked on the phone to a lot of coaches this week. What are you telling coaches when you meet with them about Ryan?
Coach Muschamp actually from Florida called me last night and asked me, because he's talked to Ryan on the phone, he hasn't met Ryan. And typically when this whole thing started, that's the first question a head coach will ask, will be, what kind of kid is he? Because that's what they want to know. They don't want to bring a kid in that is a locker room problem, that's going to raise a fuss and that kind of thing. And that's I tell him, I said, he's a great kid. You're not going to have character issues. Now as far as football wise, and we have kind of excluded, I guess that's I don't know how else to say it other than we have told some programs know, because Ryan doesn't fit into what they're doing offensively. And there was a school that Ryan actually said, we kind of went on a summer tour this last tour, went to Purdue, Illinois. Where else did we go? I guess Purdue and Illinois, and we're going to make a third stop. And Ryan started thinking about it. He's like, I don't really fit into what they do offensively. I don't think I want to go to their camp. I said, well, that's fine. I said, just call them and explain to them, you know. And the coach kind of got mad at him and used some words that Ryan was kind of taken aback by. And, you know, so we didn't, needless to say, we didn't go. And then he's been kind of shying away from that. And I think that's what makes this whole process a little bit hard for him, is telling somebody no. He's going to have to tell, you know, probably 5, 6 schools, no, I'm not coming, and that's hard for him.
He does have a very long list of schools, and he said that he was working on cutting schools down and everything. Do you think certain schools are bigger contenders than other, and why
sure.
so?
I do. I think it plays into, and the thing that you have to remember, and the people the fans have to remember is we're talking about a 17, 18-year-old kid. We're not talking about a professional athlete. We're talking about kids, and teenagers make decisions for reasons that you and I would not make decisions on, right or wrong. That's just how it is. And I think playing time, you know, that's a factor. Style of offense, all those things play a factor into his decision making. You know, I don't want to speak because it's his decision, it's his family's decision. It's something that they have to do. But one thing our defensive coordinator did for him, Nick Sheridan, what he did was he came up with a list of questions. Probably, I think it was about 5, 6, 7 questions, and he did it per school. And so he gave them 5 sheets of paper, take them home, answer those questions for each one. For each school, and really after he did that, I really started to notice with him a process. You know, I could tell he was really thinking about it. He was starting to narrow it down more and more, and I think that he's on his way. Like I said, I don't envy his position, because he's going to struggle with it, and he does struggle. Everybody asks me, you know, hey, what's he going to do? And I'm like, I say I don't know, and I think people think I'm lying. You know, when I say that I really do know, but I don't think he knows, to be honest with you. I think that he's got some that he likes, and he's going to have to wade through that. Now, he's got 1 visit left. I know he had a great visit at UK last weekend, and he's going to take this weekend off, and he'll probably take one on the 25th. And I think at that point, after the 25th, I think he's going to have a better idea of where he's going to go.
And when talking to him, you could tell he's excited for February 5th. It's going to be a relief, a pressure off his shoulders, but he still has that decision to make.
Right.
Coach Stoops and Neil Brown, of course, of UK,
Right.
were here today and
Right.
actually caught up with Ryan right after.
Right.
And he was talking about just the style of offense that he likes that Neil Brown runs.
Right.
Do you think Kentucky is a top contender
I do.
for him?
I do, and several reasons. Not only the offense, but obviously closeness to home, all those kind of things. And you can't get away from. I mean, his Twitter. He'll come over and show me. You know, he's like, Coach. I mean, and he's got like 2,000 something followers, and they're all UK fans. You know, and I worry about if he doesn't select UK. And I'm not saying that he, you know. That if he doesn't, because people get a little excited sometimes, and but I don't know. But definitely the change in offensive styles. You know, that's what we've run here, and Ryan's been in that offense since 7th grade, and it's just I think it's an opportunity for him. I mean, if he does commit and sign with UK, it's an opportunity he can spend time in spring practice, not competing or anything, but I mean, really helping the players that are already there understand what's going on. I remember going to clinics and watching Neil Brown speak when he was at Troy about this offense. You know, and this is something we've been in, I think, now for 6 or 7 years. It's on my 3rd here, but at Woodford County, I was doing it as well. And it's, I mean, to me, it's an advantage because, you know, he's going to have to either go, whether it be Ohio State, Florida, Illinois, wherever he decides to go. I really think that he's going to have to learn what they're doing. And I don't want to say be behind the curve, but that's obviously going to increase his chances of getting on the field faster at UK because he already knows the offense.
Are there any weaknesses that you think that stand out with him that he's going to really have to work on to get that playing time on the field in college?
I don't know. You know, the thing, and not just Ryan, but any of the kids that we send off to college, whether it doesn't matter what level, number one, it's a different speed. I'm always concerned about that. 2, it's a lot more intellectual. I think there's a lot more thought put through it. I think you have to be more of a student of the game. And I don't worry that Ryan isn't willing to do that. To be honest with you, he and I, we don't have a lot of football conversations unless it's about us. We don't talk NFL. We don't talk, we'll trash talk sometimes back and forth and about stuff. But outside of that, we don't talk a lot of football. So I guess I'm not so sure how much a student of the game that he is. He will definitely have to be when he gets to college, because it's a job. When you get to, when you're talking Division I programs, it's a job. And concern doesn't bother me. I think obviously going in as a freshman, I think I call it sticker shock. But you go in we try to prepare the guys here, but it's a lot of time. I mean, our quarterback just graduated early at the semester, and he's at University of Toledo right now, and he's tweeting stuff out. And the football part of it, he even said, he goes, I love it, I'm doing it. The class part of it, he doesn't even have a class till noon, but they lift in the morning for football stuff. He's a class at noon, then he's got a couple hours off, and I think it's that downtime, those 2 hours between classes, stuff like that he's struggling with. And I think, those are the things that concern me more so than how's he going to perform on the field. How's he going to be able to put those things together? And that's the other thing that's important to me as his head coach, is that wherever he goes, I want him to be, number one, comfortable but taken care of. And I don't mean things done for him. What I mean is I want to make sure that the coaching staff, and they have a good tutoring program, academic staff, stuff like that, so it is an easy transition. Because he's a great student here. He's over a 3.0. He's probably a 3.25 or so right now overall. And I want that success to continue. I don't want that to stop just because he went to college, and he's got to get off on a good foot in order for that to happen.
You're looking for a college that has his best interests.
Sure, and not just football-wise, exactly. Everywhere. And I know that's what his mom's looking for as well. So, that has to be the number one priority, because football, heaven forbid something were to happen and football's not there anymore, he's got to be able to fall back on something.
He definitely emphasized that he was looking out for his education as
right.
well as football.
Right, and he wants. I think he wants something in sports marketing, business. Somebody he's in the program here at school and he loves it, and I think it's important for him.
He's a great kid. Yeah. You all have had a very successful season, so congratulations, and really exciting things coming up on February 5th.
Absolutely. Right. I invite you all if you make it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.